Welcome to Walking Together Through Cancer. My name is Vic Coleman, and today we're going to have part two of the interview I had with Carol Maki, a friend of mine who not only was diagnosed with breast cancer herself, but later on became the caretaker of her husband who was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And today we're going to hear about the financial side of their situation and how she had to deal with a $14,000 a month bill for her husband's treatment. I mean, it's really amazing. So stay tuned and enjoy, and I think this will really help and encourage you through this whole process. Yeah. Now, the I want to just dive in, if we could, just a little bit more on those pills, and because you kind of touched on the finances of this, and sometimes with cancer, we focus so much on the disease, but a reality is that all these scans, all these tests, and sometimes these treatments uh, make you want to, sign up for the lotto, just to pay for it because it can get expensive.
Yeah.
And so you were saying that Charles had some pills that you said it was like $14,000 for
A month.
a month. And how often did he have to take those pills?
Once a day. He took 4 pills a day.
4 pills a day.
Yeah, great big pills.
So there was 120 pills, and that was $14,000.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But
Wow.
we were lucky that they had connections, knew who to call. I think that's something that needs to be out there so people know where to go.
Now, and that's where, when you say they, I guess you went to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy,
No,
or how did,
they
explain
knew
that.
how.
Explain the cost, how you found out about the cost, and then who did you talk to say that this is not in our budget? $14,000 a month additional is not in our budget.
Well, we were at the doctor's office, and he said, your PSA is rising. So I'm going to give you this shot every 4 months, and I'm going to give you a prescription. So, but we have to contact them. So, okay, we left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor's office called and said that they're going to be $14,000, and they were going to go to bat and see how much they could knock off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then the doctor's office called back at the 2,500. And we just said, oh, that's terrible, And
Yeah.
so then at a third time, she called back and said that the manufacturer is going to pay for the pills.
Wow.
So we
So,
just see.
Go ahead.
Well, it just seems that we all had guardian angels because everything kind of clicked. We were fortunate to have people in the know that knew about this, because I don't know, the average guy probably walk away from it and then what happens? It just gets progressive.
Right.
I have a friend in Arizona died from prostate cancer, and it just seems that he didn't take care of himself.
Hmm.
And I find that so hard to believe, that there's so many ways to stay alive, and people are afraid of the doctor or afraid of something, and take that kind of chance when if I didn't have mammograms and he didn't have a prostate doctor, who knows? So it's just so important to do that follow-up.
Right. So it was the doctor's office that actually
Did all the work.
Did all the work and the lead work, and used their connections and relationships and whatever to knock it down from 14,000 a month to where the manufacturer's paying for it.
Right.
So that is that is an avenue that people need to investigate when they're going through.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because that's another thing. I know that even with our insurance, a MRI or CT or PET scan, you're looking at anywhere between $200 and $400 out your pocket, and if you need multiple scans, that can get up there after a while. So, just in general, did y'all have any supplemental insurance?
He
Like
did.
okay.
I'll tell you, he had Medicare and he
Hmm.
had United Healthcare through AARP, and
Hmm.
I don't believe we paid anything.
Wow.
And he had this. Uh, uh, I'm trying to think, AFib, where he got blood clots, and so the doctor's office said, "Hey, there's this new thing out there called the Watchman. Let's talk about that." You go up through the groin and literally puncture the heart and open this little umbrella-like thing that catches clots before it can get to your lungs.
Hmm.
And Charles had that surgery. Something went wrong. We don't know if the doctor turned it too quickly or if it deployed itself, but it ruptured his heart. And
Hmm.
they had to go in there and do with the saw, bust him open and do open heart surgery. Now, he was in the hospital for 3.5 months,
Wow.
and I think we paid $2,300.
Wow.
So we were lucky.
Yeah.
And I saw that bill. It was $1 million too. But I don't know. The insurance company probably didn't pay half that, but still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
not everybody has that kind of insurance, but he did. So
So really, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, to try to maybe shed some light for folks, is that especially if you have a family history of cancer or something like that, it probably would benefit to get some of these look into some of these supplemental insurance packages or policies that are out there to help pay for this stuff. Because just like you said, your husband was in the hospital for this heart condition for 3 months, and the bill was over $1 million. Anything else you want to share or you feel like would be helpful for like the caregivers?
I think attitude is probably number one. Um, when you get a diagnosis like that, you break into a cold sweat
Hmm.
and you don't know what happens next. Um, I guess I have an ability to kind of put it in the back of my mind. I love what I do as far as working. I kind of poured myself into that.
Hmm.
I did not think about it a whole lot, and it happened so quickly. A matter of days, it was diagnosis to surgery,
Hmm.
and then a matter of days, another week of radiation. So really, that was a two week time period for me. And like I say, I just felt kind of floated through it. I just kind of refused to think about it. I don't know if that's good or bad. You say, you know, you pray and you ask. At least I do. I say, when Charles was dying, I said, "This is what's going to have to happen." So I pray that you help me and you help him. I didn't pray for a miracle. I don't think that was even on the table.
Hmm.
He was so sick, his lungs were just giving up on him. And I just always felt positive and felt like a motto. It is what it is. We move forward from here. So I think attitude is a huge factor in everything. You're going to be scared,
Yeah.
and you're going to worry about the financial end, and hopefully people will come out of it as easily as we did.
What about the kids? What what advice can you pass on to kids? Because you said like Charles had a daughter
Mm.
that you had talked to, I guess, yesterday, recently. And how did she respond? And what advice would you give to kids whose parents or a loved one is diagnosed?
Somebody's ringing the doorbell. They're messing me up here. Um, Ask me again, Vic. What advice would I give to the kids?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, men know when something's wrong, when they can't pee. That's easy.
Hmm.
Um, Women, it's not detectable, so that's something that you have to go and find. Um, you need to have that mammogram because then most often you're not going to feel a lump or anything. Some women do, but I'll guarantee you a lot don't even bother with it, you know.
Right.
So I guess self-examination, that's important. Personally, my doctor said I had fibroid tissue, and so that it would be best for me not to find something because I can, you know, that
Right.
there'll probably be something that you feel and you'll be in a panic.
Right.
So just take care of yourself.
Okay. Well, Carol, I appreciate your time and you sharing, and I think this is going to really help some folks.
I hope
And
so.
yeah, and I just really appreciate you and your honesty and talking about yourself as well as Charles. And again, I think this is going to have a huge impact. So
Well,
thanks a lot.
you and your wife both have been there and done that, so it's great
Yeah,
that you're trying to help someone, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I read that I think 1.8 million people are going to be diagnosed with cancer this year, new diagnosis.
Mm,
So there's a lot of, there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of people hear about the big C, so to speak, and don't have a clue.
yep,
And that's what all this is part is to educate and then also to encourage.
yep.
So thank you, and I appreciate all you've done.
You're welcome. I hope you can use some of it. I might
Yeah,
rattle on at times.
no, I think this is right on the money. All
Okay.
right, well, thanks a lot.
Well, let me see who's at the dang door.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Vic.
Talk to you
Thanks.
later.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Wasn't that an amazing interview with Carol Maki? I mean, she hit the nail on the head on so many topics that we deal with when we're dealing with a cancer diagnosis, from the finance, from the perspective of a caretaker, as well as someone who was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I just want to thank Carol for being open and honest. And if you haven't seen part one of the video, I encourage you to do so now. And there is a link to that video in the description of this one. And so, talking about our experiences, I wanted to at least tell you about or mention my experience with cancer, which started about 20 years ago with my wife's diagnosis of breast cancer, my mom's diagnosis with breast cancer, as well as my three diagnoses: lymphoma twice and prostate cancer once. And I wrote it. I wrote the book Cancer Christians in Crisis. It's available on Amazon, where I go through not only the story of these cancer diagnoses as well, but also offer practical advice, and also we cover topics from a biblical perspective on fear, answering questions like why me and if God is good. More than I can handle. Sometimes we get to a point where we feel like, I don't know how I can go another day or even another hour. And so this book addresses how to handle those situations, as well as big surprises, because a lot of times when we're going through the whole cancer experience, we'll get news that's not really pleasant. And so it's just how to handle those big surprises. What to do with regrets. We become very reflectful during this time, and sometimes we'll have regrets over things that we've done or said in the past or didn't do. And so it's just how to handle those. And then also what to say when the doctors say it's terminal. And then how to have peace. So anyway, we cover all these topics, and again, it's available on Amazon, Cancer Christians in Crisis, and we also have it available in Spanish. So it's the same book, but in Spanish, because we wanted to try to help as many people as we could. Because the goal of this station is to not only educate, but to encourage. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you have found something that will help you through this process. And again, thank you for watching, and we just want you to stay encouraged.